Hello, and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and iTWire video. I'm joined today by Mark Hodgson, the head of services at Samsung Australia. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Alex. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Now, the last time we spoke about Samsung Pay was in mid 2018. And at the time, Samsung Pay was celebrating being on 6 continents and having processed over 1.3 billion transactions. Now, that's a year and a half ago. So how has Samsung Pay grown since that time? And walk me through what you've announced this year.
Yeah, sure. Look, Samsung Pay continues to grow globally in terms of the number of countries that we launched in. I think we're up to about 25 countries now, and a number of different solutions launched, across the marketplace. In this year, look, it's been a strange year, of course. I think one thing that we've noticed more generally is digital services have continued to grow, and likewise for digital payments and Samsung Pay. We've seen more and more users come onto the platform, which is fantastic. We picked up a bunch of new issuer partners as well. So, Bank West probably being one of the most significant of those that launched in August, which is fantastic. So we've got 70 or 80 of the card brands now in Australia, all attached to Samsung Pay, which is great. And a couple of other sort of significant announcements. One of them, a feature called CDCVM. It stands for Consumer Device Cardholder Verification Method. Bit of a mouthful, but what it essentially means is that when you authenticate on Samsung Pay, that authentication can also be used as the authentication on the PIN pad. So for high value transactions, whether that's over $100 or over $200 in some merchants, you don't have to authenticate on the PIN pad. You really just relying on authenticating on the device. That's done either via a PIN, your fingerprint, or even in some cases an iris scan or a face scan. So look, it's an easier user experience for users. It's nice because people aren't having to touch the PIN pad, and is a sort of a COVID response move, I guess, from Samsung, which is nice. And finally, a launch with a partnership with eftpos, which we're very excited about. Typically, users have been able to load their Visa, MasterCard, and American Express cards, but just a couple of weeks ago, we launched with eftpos, with our first bank, with Heritage. And what that means is that as we roll out new bank partners with eftpos, you'll be able to load your eftpos cards up. But as you know, many cards out there, all debit cards, in fact, have an eftpos component to them, and many are linked with both Visa and eftpos, or MasterCard and eftpos, and users will be able to toggle between using either the international scheme, so Visa or MasterCard, or eftpos to make their payments. And look, that's a great innovation. eftpos, as I say, linked to all debit cards. There's about 50 million or so eftpos cards out there in the marketplace. So we're very excited about that, and that should help to open up Samsung Pay to more users and provide more benefits for our customers, which is great.
Yeah, and it gives choice. I mean, I don't know if it's the case in all instances, but often with eftpos, you pay a lower fee than if you're using a credit card. And if the consumer has the choice, well, then they can choose which payment method they want to use. I know that my mother, when she goes to Aldi, she knows that if she taps the card, she pays a certain fee, 1.49%. But if she inserts the card and pays by eftpos, she doesn't pay it. So she wants to insert it. So that that choice is good for people.
That's very, very true. Very true. There are some merchants that charge more for certain schemes as opposed to others, and other benefits, including actually, eftpos is a real-time network, so you see those funds coming out of your bank account in real time, whereas usually takes 1 to 3 days or so for Visa, MasterCard transactions. And look, if people still want to take cash out, I know that the cash transactions are declining, and people are a little bit more wary perhaps of handling cash these days, but look, still people do use cash in significant numbers. They can obviously take cash out at merchants and can do that now through Samsung Pay. So yeah, it's good news for consumers.
So for those who maybe don't know exactly why is paying over your digital wallet on a Samsung device safer than using the card? And you see some people who have the card on the back of their phones and they'll tap that way. But I mean, I know there's a specific reason, but just explain it for us briefly.
Yeah, sure. Look, first thing importantly is to note that when you load a card onto Samsung Pay,
Mm.
that card number is not stored on Samsung Pay. It's sent off to the schemes, Visa, Mastercard, eftpos, American Express, and the card number is tokenized. So
Yep.
your card number doesn't doesn't reside on the phone, which I think is really important from a
Yeah.
security perspective. And also, then look, when you go and make a transaction, for every single transaction that you make in a store, that you have to authenticate. So you have to put in a PIN, you have to put in your fingerprint, as I said earlier, or an iris scan.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's not the case when you have your plastic card. If you drop your plastic card somewhere, somebody can go and then make a transaction with it. It's not that people can pick up your phone and go and make a transaction with it. Obviously on transit transactions, that's slightly different, very low dollar transactions. But for any transaction in a store, that's true. And the last reason, I guess, is because we have this feature, Find My Mobile. If you did misplace your mobile, you left it somewhere. Obviously, people can't pick up and just make a payment because they need to authenticate. But another layer of security is to be able to log into the Find My Mobile website and actually then lock down your device. So they couldn't use it. And when you find that device again, you can simply unlock the device and get going. So look, a number of security benefits, but then also there's of course the convenience side of things as well.
Absolutely. And with Samsung being the most popular Android phone company, there are a lot of different Samsung devices out there. But you also have Google Pay and PayPal and AliPay and WeChat. There's all these different competitors. So I'm just curious, what do you know the percentage of Samsung users globally that are using Samsung Pay on their devices?
Look, actually, I don't know that. Look, we know it's a growing trend, and different countries are going to have their different growth rates. But given that the digital expansion across the world and what's happening with COVID, we're seeing strong growth in Australia for sure. I mean, we're seeing this year. Monthly active users have grown between the start of the year and roughly middle of the year to soon after was around 16%. And transaction numbers have grown even stronger, around 35% growth. So look, certainly more and more customers using in Australia.
And that's in an age where people haven't been able to go into stores as much as possible. Just imagine if we didn't have COVID, the numbers would have been even greater. But it's so common now to see. I've got a friend that has a retail store, and every now and then I go and stand behind the counter and help out. And it's so many people just pay with their phones of all different types. It's just a natural thing. We take it for granted nowadays.
That's right. Look, I think you're right. That I think people have worked out that not only is it just making the payments, but digital wallets in general, they can do many more things than just payments. So, and again, just referring Samsung Pay, you can load all your loyalty cards there. So you don't need to carry a stack of those in your wallet. Typically, Australians have 5 or 6 loyalty cards. You could digitize them, onto Samsung Pay. You can make on the transit network in the Opal card network in Transport for New South Wales. You can use Samsung Pay again without even waking up the device. And also in Adelaide, they recently announced that in their tram network in Adelaide, they also accept contactless cards and Samsung Pay, which is fantastic. So I think you'll see more and more of those transit networks around Australia will be launching transit solutions. So you can use your wallet for more and more things. And yes, as you say, it's just a lot more common now to see people paying, either by their phone or even by their watch.
And the watch too, absolutely. And do you have any timeline as to when we might see some of the other banks taking on the eftpos side of things? I realize that all these things are top secret with negotiations and all the rest, but might there be something else this year, or just we have to keep waiting until some of those other guys say yes?
We're working on a bunch of different partnerships at the moment, which we're super excited about. I'm hoping this year. Let's see how we go. But yeah, look, I think it's fair to say that the banks are all keen to get on board as well. They want to continue to offer their customers choice, and we'll see more issuers rolling out in the coming months.
The Samsung phones, they still have the ability to send the magnetic information to the old swipe cards. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So what I was thinking is that what you need to do in Canberra, there's a lot of clubs, and in fact, there's plenty of RSL clubs around the place. And my parents were always members of all these different clubs, and so in my wallet I have all of these club cards that you've got to swipe in when you go in there, and so they're loyalty cards of a different stripe, as it were. So maybe you guys should do some work with some of the RSL clubs to see whether those club cards can be digitized, and then you can hold your phone down and send that information magnetically, because they're probably not, usually they're a swipe system. So that'd be another project to work on if you need more work, that is.
That's right, Alex. Look, there are so many use cases. There's so many different things that you would typically use your wallet for, and cards just one example of that. Many different use cases for those cards. So there's a healthy pipeline for us to work with going forward.
So can you share a view into how digital wallets will continue to evolve in the future?
Yes, look, I think again, just looking at what your physical wallet does today, and the many different use cases, that whether it be payment cards, whether it be loyalty, whether it be gift cards and prepaid cards, you've got digital, you've got receipts in there. All these items can be digitized, and there are companies working there to digitize those solutions. And look, Samsung Pay isn't necessarily going to be creating bespoke solutions for all these different use cases, but where we can really step in is actually partnering up with some of these companies, like we do with the banks on the payment side of things, to launch their products. And you see a lot more fintech organizations coming into the fore these days as well. More card brands being launched out there, and so these are all great opportunities for Samsung Pay to continue to make the platform relevant for users as user behavior changes, as it is happening so quickly at the moment. So there's a long opportunity for all digital wallets to expand the use cases and usability.
Well, you've probably said it all, but are there any final things you want to say to the people who are watching and reading the article this video will go into?
Look, I think for those that haven't thought about digital wallets, I would say a couple of things. Firstly, the security is, these digital wallets are very secure. As I say, there's a number of different security features on Samsung Pay, as we've talked about, and aligning to that, it's the convenience of it. You really, for many people, you just don't need to carry your wallet around with you for the majority of times, whether it's the payments cards, loyalty cards, transit. In a number of states now, we're looking at digital driver's license as well. There's a lot that you can capture on your devices now, and it's just simply one less thing to worry about, and very convenient. One particular use case on the cards side of things, which continues to come back to me, is that for when your card is compromised and the bank rings you up and says that they're going to put a new card in the post to you, that can be activated digitally instantly onto your device, and so you don't have to wait 3 to 5 days for being able to go out and make a payment again. You can actually get your token refreshed on your Samsung Pay and continue as if nothing had happened. And so, it's use cases like that I think really help to bring the digital wallet solution to life. And I urge people to go out there and give it a go if they haven't already.
Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time. I hope people out there with Samsung phones, if you haven't tried Samsung Pay, give it a go. I've used it. It's been great. It's saved me when I've forgotten my wallet at home. I needed to buy something. Got the phone, you just tap it. And I've also had the situation where I was overseas. I got a call from the bank. The card was supposedly compromised, and I had to wait a week to get a new one. It was crazy. They graciously unlocked my card for a few minutes so I could go to an ATM and withdraw some cash. This is a few years ago. But, it would have been the case today that I could have just said, yep, flick it over, give me the new card, and it would have been ready to go. So I'm glad to see that it's evolved, and no doubt more to come in the future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Alex. Good to speak with you, and look forward to next time.
Let's not make it a year and a half. Bye-bye.
Indeed. Bye.
See you later.